In today's fast evolving environment, we all need to learn one or other thing and need to ensure that whatever we learn that stays with us for a longer period of time. And that's what we have been hustling. That's what we have been trying to learn new things at a relatively faster pace with an insurity that stays with us for longer. But that's my observation that we have been missing uh, some key steps, key process of how do we ensure a better learning that stays with us for longer period of time, right? I think that's what is the topic of today's video. We're going to talk about learning the learn. It's a kind of very good technique. It's also known as meta skills, which is very very important for today's life, be it personal, be it professional, as everybody is trying to learn one or other things at relatively faster pace, right? So let's kick started this topic on this particular channel, which you know as know you grow you, which means that in order to grow yourself you got to be knowing yourself first, through technique of self-awareness. We'll be talking about that as well in more detail, but in today's topic we're going to talk about the learning techniques, the few simple and practical steps of how to learn. Yeah. So in order to learn something, right, first of all somebody has to have a very great clarity of why somebody needs to learn something, right? Because having clarity of why do you want to learn something really sets the great level of foundation, and brings the profound level of efforts from your side, that why do you want to learn something. If it is to be learned something around your career progression, which is very very critical, you are at very critical juncture of your career and you need to be learning something so that you can really progress further, right? So you would imagine the amount of effort, the amount of hard work really it brings in, right? So that is where at the same time, as compared to that, if you want to learn something just for sake of hobby, or learning just for sake of it, probably your efforts would be not that profound, not that great, right? So that's where the difference comes in, with the level of clarity. The stronger the why, more profound the efforts, right? And less clarity around why, it brings lesser amount of efforts from your side as long as that learning is concerned. So the first and foremost step in order to learn effectively is to have clarity on why do you want to learn something. Yeah. So once there is a clarity on why do you want to learn something, the next step in this process turns out to be goal setting, right? As we all know, heading towards any direction without goal setting, right, is eventually a directionless approach, right? Until unless you don't set yourself that know what exactly you need to learn, uh, up to what time, up to what level, what way, all these goals are not clear with yourself, right? You will not be able to make a better heading towards your learning process, right? So after having clarity on why, one got to be having very good level of goal setting, right? Why it brings a lot of clarity that around your learning. It brings your focus towards that learning, right? It really keeps you motivated. It maintains your persistence towards your learning approach. And once your goals are achieved, your learning goals are achieved, it gives you a sense of achievement, right, which really works as another feedback approach, right, to your mind, that whatever you wanted to do, you have really done that, and from here onwards you can proceed further more effectively, right? So that's where this second step of goal setting really helps. If you want to learn or want to gain more knowledge about goal setting, you can watch my video on goal setting. I had recorded this video much earlier, and that talks about much more detailed technique of goal setting. Yeah. So after having clarity on why and then goal setting, next step you got to be engaging yourself into the active learning, right? So what is active learning? So most of the people try to do multitasking, and by virtue of that multitasking they really do engage into passive learning, right? That doesn't work for long lasting learning. You got to be engaging yourself into the active learning. And what are the few techniques of active learning is something like, whatever you learn, right, try making notes of whatever you are learning, try to summarize whatever you have learned in your own words, try to create mind map, that in order to create the continuity or the congruency of whatever you have learned, wherever at whatever juncture of learning you left in your last learning session, start from there onwards, so that the kind of continuity. And more important step is that you try maintaining manual notes while you are learning, right? Why that is important? Because there's a kind of a cognitive approach that plays a vital role out here. And it says that we have few key nerves at the tip of our finger and thumb, using which we hold the pen, and at the same time the similar nerves are passing from this lower part of our palm, which we place on piece of paper while writing. And whatever we are writing, that has these nerves having a direct connection to our subconscious mind. So whatever we are writing, that really gets registered to our subconscious mind directly, which has longer stability, and it can stay in our mind for a longer period of time. That is where preparing your manual notes play a vital role for active learning. Yeah, so this was the third step for the learning. Once you have maintained, or you have managed yourself into this, so you got to be having enough time in hand for learning, right? So that's where organizing yourself as well as time management comes into picture. Once again, I had recorded a good video on time management and organizing yourself in the past. You may want to refer that video, that talks about various key techniques, that how can you really manage your time, right? I think more than managing time, it's all about how do you prioritize few of the things, and how do you prioritize your learning on top of rest of the other things. That can be done following 4D rule. What is 4D rule? Again, you can go back and watch that time management video in the same channel. That will help you a lot, right? So after having organized yourself, after having managed your time effectively, you have gone into the active learning. The last but not the least important step is self-reflection, right? You all would agree that literally no one knows better than yourself, right? No one knows you better than yourself, right? So that is where self-reflection and honest self-reflection is very, very important, is very, very key, right? It helps you really identifying your pitfalls, identifying your gaps, your mistakes. For example, if you had set a goal yourself of completing some, say, 30% of your learning for first week time, right? But once you are doing a self-reflection towards the end of the week, and you are observing that instead of 30, probably you could manage to complete only 10% of your learning. So you got to be identifying by doing a self-reflection, where exactly that deprioritization came into picture, where exactly your time gone lost into. Then you can again do a kind of replanning of your prioritization and deprioritization, and that's where you really try bridging the gaps on your pitfalls, on your gaps, right? And most importantly, self-regulation is one concept that comes into picture once you start performing self-reflection, right? So by virtue of self-regulation, which is nothing but kind of managing yourself more effectively, right, really helps you channelizing your resources, your energy, your time into one direction of your learning goals, right? So that is how, following these steps, you can try improving your learning techniques. So let me summarize these 5 steps. The first and foremost step is having clarity on why do you want to learn. Once you have that clarity, then you want to set up your goals of your learning. Once you have set up your goals, you may want to try organize and manage your time. And then once you're done with that, then you got to be engaging yourself into the active learning by making notes, summarizing in your words, making mind map. And then last but not the least is your self reflection, right? Because that's where you can try identifying what have been the pitfalls, what have been the pattern because of which you you happen to deviate yourself from your learning purposes, right? And then by virtue of self regulation, you can try bringing back, right, onto the path of your learning, right? So yeah, try implementing these 5 steps into your learning techniques. I am sure these will help you, right? So that is it for now. And of course, I would like to continue from here, giving more details, bringing more key topic in the improvement. The next obvious topic really brings around how do we improve our focus, because working on focus is pretty important while you are onto your learning path, right? So watch out for my next video on how do you improve on your focus, right? So guys, go back and try implementing these steps. And as you know, you can grow well by knowing yourself well, right? So that's how you call it, know you and grow you. Till then, thank you very much.